Alright, today we're putting, I believe it's about 02 Explorer seats and a 91 F150 with the extended cab. So I've got the driver's seat in already, and the driver's seat has power. The only terminals you need to connect off a power plug on one of these seats is the red and the black, and the switch switches it from there. Driver's side, I made one bracket like that. The others, I just set the seat down in the truck, lined it up, and drilled holes in the floor, and ran the bolts through it and kept some fairly large washers. The other seat mounting holes on this truck were already pretty messed up on the driver's side, so there really wasn't a whole lot to save there. And I kept them, you can see, I kept it fairly, well, you can't see, but I kept it fairly close to the positions of the other bolts. Over there you can see the hole where one of the studs was supposed to be, which was already missing, and that's where the new hole went in the floor at. Now that works fine for the driver's side, but since this is an extended cab, those seats are not designed to slide forward as much as the other seats are. So I'm going to be mounting, as you saw, I had even the front one over there just went pretty much flat on the floor, and then there was just one special bracket for this one for the inside. On this side, however, I'm going to end up making 3 mount points for it, because I'm going to scoot this seat forward a little bit, so that front bolt is actually going to go about in here somewhere. And as you can see, the back is pretty much even with the original holes, but it is scooted forward, so there's going to have to be a 2-inch spacer between the bottom of the seat bracket and the floor. Temporarily I'm going to use a pipe, because I want to get it in here so I can get measurements, because I'm going to make a new console, because these seats don't have armrests like the others did. So I'm going to make the standard height console that this vehicle would have had, the vehicle the seats came out of, would have had in it to go in here. This is where I've started making one of the brackets, because you can't drill through right here and get to anything, because there's the heat shield and some other stuff underneath the floor in this area. So I'm going to make a bracket here and stick a bolt up through it and tighten it down to the seat, and then I'll set the whole seat down in here and then put this nut on the stud. And I don't know if you can see what line I scratched out for how I'm going to cut this plate, and it'll be spray painted black before it goes in here for the final time. That tab we made about the same as the other one. This one's just going to run through a, I'm going to make a spacer. It's about 2 inches tall. It's going to sit on to go over here. As far as finding out the mounting locations, the locations to drill the holes, what I did, I set the seat in here, and I just took a can of spray paint and sprayed through the holes, through the bolt holes, and there's none over there because that bolt hole's front to back rather than up and down. And then went back, cut out those holes with a razor blade and an X, folded the carpet under. I did the same thing over there before realizing that you can't actually drill through the floor and put a bolt in right there. The other thing to watch out for is when you start, you want to put your finger in there and push the insulation away out in all the directions, because if you just stick a drill bit down through this, it's going to pull all the insulation from the area into it and pull it out in big clumps like that. So we're going to work on getting this seat the rest of the way in here. And before I put the driver's seat in, I just went ahead and soldered a couple wires to it. The black wire, I just put a fairly short wire with a loop on the end of it that I'll just screw into the body somewhere. And then I ran a blue to the positive, and that's probably going to run along here, because there's also going to be an amp in the console when I get done building it. So I'm going to get to work on cutting out that bracket, and then we'll set it down in here and figure out where the hole for the front bracket needs to go, and we'll move from there. Like I said, it hasn't been too bad of a project so far, but I can see why people would say they don't want to do it again. But I think as we work with these seats, I'm very happy with how they're matching, but I'm colorblind, so, could be way off for y'all. Everybody seems to like it so far, though. Alright, I'll get back to you.